One of the left's and the pro-Palestinian side's genius himself, Bassem Yousef, is going to chime in and unable to answer one single question. I am tall, your favorite Zionist prince, the traveling clat. Let's get right into it.
I don't want to have a big argument. I'm interested in your perspective, but I have to put the question to you that I think a lot of people would want the answer to, which is, if you were the Prime Minister of Israel on October 8th, what would you do?
You see, that's again, you're resetting the clock. You are judging people what you do for their reaction.
Yeah.
Before October.
Also, Bassem Yousef is a fucking idiot. If you believe in my channel, by the way, you should subscribe right now because we're trying to hit 500,000 subscribers and we're inching towards it. It would be a massive help if you did subscribe.
October 7th, there is a total of 100,000 Palestinians killed and injured.
Agree.
You cannot keep pushing people to the limit, and when they react violently. Okay, what happened October 7th?
No, let's accept your argument.
What happened October 7th?
Well, I'm going to ask you that in a second, but let's accept your argument. For the sake of argument, I'm not saying this is what I think, but for the sake of argument, let's say the October 7th was a perfectly justified uprising on the basis of all the terrible atrocities Israel has committed. Let's say we accept that. Okay, you're the Prime Minister of Israel on the 8th of October. What would you do?
Yeah, because if I'm the Prime Minister of Israel, I will do exactly what Netanyahu does, because Israel have been doing more stuff than this and was getting away with it, was getting away with murder.
But that's what you would do, right?
Israel just killed 7 international workers from the UN. And you know what they did? Oh, sorry, you know what? It's war. I mean, mistakes happen. We're sorry, guys. Up yours.
Do you not think that's true, though?
Of course not, because there is a history of Israel killing international workers and UN with absolutely no consequences. If Israel today stopped the Gaza war, you know what will happen? Israel will be applauded. Thank you so much for just killing 30,000 people. We're so happy that you just killed those amount of people. And there will be no consequences for the murders and the war crimes that Israel have been doing for 6 months. It's crazy. You think, like, you're asking me what should I do? If I'm the Prime Minister of Israel like Netanyahu, I'm a killer. I'm a mass murderer. I've been killing Palestinians all my life, and I've absolutely had no pushback. So I will kill. I will do exactly what Israel does.
I don't mean if you were Netanyahu. I mean if you were the Prime Minister.
If I was, I wouldn't have done the stuff that would have led to October 7th.
Fine, but that's not really where we are. That's not the reality of the situation.
No, the reality of the situation that you want to corner people on October 7th and you forget what happened before.
Bassem, I'm not trying to corner anyone. I'm saying...
You just asked me if I was the Prime Minister of Israel.
Yes.
If I was Netanyahu,
no,
I would do that. If I was Bassem, I wouldn't have done the stuff that Netanyahu has done that would lead to October 7th.
But what I'm trying to get at with you is, you see, we're getting stuck in that same dynamic that people often have when they're having this discussion, where the pro-Israel people have their points and the pro-Palestine people have their points.
Who's doing the killing, Habibi? Who's doing the killing?
Well,
who's doing the killing? Who's stealing the land? Who's pushing people out of their homes on every single day? Who's putting another human beings in a concentration camp conditions and bombing the shit out of them for 50 years? And then you come and talk to me about October 7th.
I'm just putting a very simple point to you, which I think is a fair point.
Which is?
Which is that to a normal person who's looking at the situation, they agree with you in that what Israel is doing is atrocious and looks horrific. And nobody wants to... I'm a father. I don't want to see babies being bombed. It's horrific.
And yet it happens.
And yet it happens.
And yet it continues to happen.
And it's horrible.
And yet my tax money and your tax money is
you've got to let me finish the point.
Sorry.
Like, you are acting as if I'm some kind of hostile interviewer, which I'm really not. I want to get to the bottom of what you think, but I'm trying to put the mainstream, ordinary, uninformed person's perspective to you, which is where I'm coming from, right? To try and unpack some of these arguments. So, yes, the normal person is, and I went to the pro-Palestine protests here in London several times and talked to people, and that's what they all say, you know what, we're horrified about what we're seeing. But you also have to be able to see that any country, you say any country that's treated like Gaza and the West Bank would react in this way. Okay, let's accept that. But I put it to you that any country that was attacked the way Israel was attacked would also react in this way, right? So if I'm an ordinary person, I don't know what to think about these two things. Is that a fair argument?
No.
Tell me why.
Because again, you are talking about, like, if that happened to us on October 7th, and you forget the atrocities that have been happening that led to October 7th. And
I don't forget.
Okay, so the thing is, it's you're really putting me in that same position. How can we react? It's like, look at what have you done before October 7th? Mm-hmm. And let's say, for example, you reacted badly. How long can Israel go in? And then we go into the position of, like, what's a proportionate response? We've been asking what's a proportionate response since the death toll in Gaza was 3,000. Now it's 33,000. Mm-hmm. the thing is, there's no number that's enough. If this could go on for a year and you'll have 300,000 Palestinians killed, and the world was still asking, but what would have Israel done? Because we don't ask these questions when
But
when
the
leaders
question still
understand-
has to be asked, because whatever the background, whatever happened before, the question still has to
Yeah.
be asked what Israel should have done. on
exactly what
October
they have
8th.
done.
That's what they should have done.
Yeah. Let's continue. Kill Gaza, kill the people, and then
But
after they're done, let's go to the West
Yeah, but
Bank
you're being
and kill
sarcastic.
300,000. Yes.
Yeah, but
Because it's. I'm sorry, because if this is the kind of conversation, like what Israel that have done, they have. Remember when Israel was saying like, oh, it's not us that bombed the Al Ahli hospital, it is the Hamas. Since then, they bombed 36 hospitals. Is that okay?
hold on. You're acting as if I'm justifying anything.
No,
I'm not. I'm asking.
the question is very weird. What could Israel have done as
No,
if
no, what
as if
could-
there has no other choice?
No. What could? What? October 7th has happened,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's happened. What should Israel have done in your opinion? That's all I'm asking.
Not this.
Okay, but not this. Okay, what should they have done?
Not this.
That's a negative. I'm asking what, in a positive sense, what they should have done. How should they have reacted?
He's deflecting now again. Here he got cornered by Constantine. He looked down, and now he's deflecting because he's a fucking idiot. They all do the same thing, by the way. Every single one of them do this exact same strategy.
My answer didn't change. Not this.
But that isn't.
They are murderers and they are violating international law. They are violating every single international piece of law, UN
Yes, you baby.
resolutions. And then you're asking
Yes.
me, what else should they have done? I don't understand the question.
No. I'm not asking what else they should have done. I'm saying if a country is attacked in this way, how should it react?
Maybe they stopped doing what other people to do it, so they will not be attacked in this way.
Okay, so you think that the Prime Minister of Israel, in the situation he's in, when X number of people, of his own civilians have been slaughtered, is in a position to say, okay, we'll just stop doing whatever we're doing. We're not going to respond in any way. You think that you should do that?
No. Let him continue killing. I mean, your question is like you're going in and you are nuking a whole country because you've been attacked. Like, what else would I do?
But hold on.
What else?
But this is, I mean, look at history. Like, would you say that what the Allies did in Germany in World War II?
The Dresden conversation.
It's not the
yeah.
Dresden conversation.
Yeah.
We dropped 50 Hiroshimas a month on Germany for a year and a half.
And that's good.
Who said it's good?
This is the thing. It's like this is because this is the same talking points of Israel. Look what the Allies did in Dresden. What did it's just the fact that
That's
like
not what I
something
said.
horrific that happened in the past does not justify what you're doing in the future.
No,
now.
I'm not saying that something horrific happened in the past justifies what we're doing in the future. And by the way, I'm surprised about the way this conversation is going, because before we started, you were like, I'm a big fan of you guys. And I really am keen to have
Because
an
the
honest
question
conversation.
is very infuriating. The question
Why?
when you ask people, if you're in Israel position, what you should have done.
Yeah.
Again, you are asking me to quantify the reaction of the atrocity that's been happening all through, and what else?
No, it's because you're a fucking idiot and you can't respond to a single question. Bring up one solution, you fucking dumbass.
If your only choice is killing children and killing unarmed civilians, and this, show me one war where 80% of a place were destroyed, 50% of the victims were children, and 100% of the population were displaced, and then you tell me you don't have any other choice?
I didn't say any of those things. All I'm saying to you is there is a reality of where we are, right? And whether you like it or not, or whether I like it or not, I don't like it, you don't like it, right? But it's not going to get solved by pretending that Israel is in a position.
And how could it be solved?
I have no idea. That's why I'm asking you.
Okay, good.
But you say not like this, and you don't give a positive.
Well, I have
vision.
no idea either. But what is happening? Israel is
Okay.
a rogue.
That's a fair answer. That's a
Israel
fair
is a
answer.
rogue.
So you don't know, and you're a fucking idiot. You don't know. You don't have a solution. You just like complaining. You don't actually like coming up with an idea. And the reality is, if your shitty country, Egypt, was attacked in this way, and they've shown this, by the way, in the past with Palestinians, they would slaughter everyone in Gaza. They wouldn't leave a single person standing, and nobody would say anything. This is a problem. We see this with Abby Martin. We see this with him, with Bassem Yousef. We see this with every single pundit on their aisle, on the pro-Palestinian side of the aisle. They are unable to answer the most simplest of questions. They don't have alternative solutions. They can't have an adult conversation about what's going on. They're just stupid. I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you a long time. Goodbye, Klats. If you believe in my content and want to support me, just know your help is needed. There's a bunch of great ways to support me, being PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or joining my Patreon community down below. Patreon is the best way to support my channel, and you'll get a bunch of cool perks depending on what tier you join. Another great way to support me is by buying my merchandise on thetravelingclat.com. I regularly drop new merch designs like this beautiful hat, or this amazing shirt, where you can support the channel and get something cool for yourself. I also have an amazing Discord community with people from all over the world. Thank you so much for your support.